students, welcome you to massive open online course on Indian economy. Today we are going to discuss the module entitled Schemes of Employment Generation in India. After completing this module, you are able to learn the evolution of employment generating program in our country, the self-generating program for the employment in India, and also the employment generating program where there is the provision of the guaranteed employment. The present module consists with 7 sections. Section 1 introduces the evolution of different employment generating program in our country, how the employment generating program changed from time to time. Section 2 to Section 6 deal with different employment generating program. Here we consider 4 major employment generating program like IRDP, Integrated Rural Development Program, Swarna Jayanti Gram Swarojgar Yojana, National Rural Livelihood Mission, and finally Mahatma Gandhi National Rural Employment Guarantee Program, which I will discuss one after one, and I will also discuss the other important employment generating program during the recent times. And finally, Section 7 makes the concluding observation. Unemployment and underemployment are the serious problem in our country, and they are the main cause for the high poverty in our country. Therefore, the reduction of the unemployment and underemployment are the major strategy from the inception of the 5-year planning in our country, and accordingly Government of India introduced a number of employment generating programs. But before 4th 5-year plan, there was no evidence of employment generating program. During 4th 5-year plan, government introduced 2 important programs. One is drought prone area program and another is food for work program, along with some other programs to overcome the problem or to address the problem of unemployment as well as poverty in our country. But this program, which were introduced in 4th 5-year plan, was very short lifespan, and they are introduced in the ad hoc basis. Integrated Rural Development Program is the massive program that was introduced in the year 1978-79 during the 6th 5-year plan in our country, and there is the provision of the generation of the self-employment under this program of IRDP, Integrated Rural Development Program. Along with IRDP, National Rural Employment Program and Rural Landless Employment Guarantee Program are also introduced during this plan period to address the poverty and unemployment in our country. In the year 1989, these 2 employment generating program, that is National Rural Employment Program and Rural Landless Employment Guarantee Program, were merged into a single program which is called Johar Rozgar Yojana. The purpose of the Johar Rozgar Yojana also the same, to generate the employment in our country. No doubt this program or the implementation of this program or the steps that taken by the government are important, but their effective implementation is limited. Therefore, we are not witnessed the favorable impact, their favorable impact in respect of poverty and unemployment. As a result, in the year 1993, Government of India introduced Employment Assurance Scheme, EAS, where there is the provision of 100 days assured employment. This is the first time in our country where government assured 100 days employment during a year for it by the implementation of the Employment Assurance Scheme in the year 1993. But this program is failed to achieve its target, and we have noticed that this Employment Assurance Scheme, EAS, was able to generate 41% during the year. Therefore, government consider different program which are already introduced by different plan period And when they assessed the performance of the different program, they observed that the basic problem is the lack of the coordination. Lack of the coordination among different program. Due to lack of the coordination among different program, the effectiveness of these programs are limited. Accordingly, government merged different program into a single program. IRDP is an important program, and along with the IRDP, different sister programs like TRYSEM, Training of Rural Youth for Self-Employment, and DWCRA, development of women and children in rural areas. Side by side, there are some other programs. All the programs are restructured into a self-employment program, which is called Swarno Jayanti Gram Sarojgar Yojana, SGSY, in the year 1999. The Swarno Jayanti Gram Sarojgar Yojana was introduced in the year 1999, and this program actually the composition or combination of earlier program which are related with IRDP, TRYSEM, and DWCRA. And the JRY, the Johar Rozgar Yojana, also changed its character and renamed as Johar Gram Samriddhi Yojana in the year 1999. And during the recent years, the UPA government introduced the new types of program, which is called Mahatma Gandhi National Rural Employment Guarantee Program, or MGNREGA, in the year 2006. This MGNREGA program is called the silver bullet for the rural poverty and unemployment, and this program is a very ambitious scheme that was introduced after post-independence. It is a very new type of program where there is the provision of 100 days guaranteed employment. In this module, we are not able to discuss all employment generating program. Rather, we consider 4 important programs in respect of their coverage, and these programs are IRDP, Integrated Rural Development Program, Swarno Jayanti Gram Sarojgar Yojana, National Rural Livelihood Mission, which is also called Aajeevika, and Mahatma Gandhi National Rural Employment Guarantee Program, or MGNREGA. Among these 4 programs, first 3, that is IRDP, SGSY, and NRLM, Aajeevika, are self-employment generating program. But the MGNREGA, or Mahatma Gandhi National Rural Employment Guarantee Program, is the direct employment generating program. We will discuss this program one after one. First of the Integrated Rural Development Program, which was initiated in our country on October 2, 1980s, in all 5,011 blocks in India. The basic strategy of this program of IRDP is to generate the self-employment by providing the asset, productive asset, to the rural households. And if you consider the performance of this program, then during the period 1980 to 85, in each block, 600 poor families were assisted. That is, 600 poor families were provided by the means of entrepreneurship, that is, provided the investment to generate their self-employment. IRDP was also allocated rupees 15 billion during this period, and rupees 13.49 billion during the period of 1985-89. And as per the official records, 45% of the families assisted during the 7th 5-year plan, and they are belonged in the SC and ST community. If you consider women participation, then 19% of the beneficiaries were women, and during 1991 and 1992, the share of SC/ST beneficiaries increased to 51%, and the share of women beneficiaries also increased to 32%. If you consider the per capita subsidy component in total investment per beneficiary, and it was 40% during this period. That is, there was a sharp increase in the investment per family to rupees 7,258 under this program. And but this program was partially successful in lifting the poor above the poverty line, because there are several problems faced by this program. and because of the several problems, the effectiveness is relatively less. The major problem is the exclusion and inclusion error. The main target group of IRDP is the poor people, but in the implementation process, there is the exclusion and inclusion error, that is the non-poor people which are not eligible for this program, they are included in this program, and the poorest of the poor who are actually eligible for this program, they bypassed from this program. Therefore, this exclusion and inclusion error is the serious problem of this particular program. And Indra Haraway, in her study, observed that IRDP mainly reached into the developed villages, not widely covered the underdeveloped region or the less developed region. Another important drawbacks of this program relating to the creation of the asset. There was no evidence of the diversification of the creation of the asset. Majority of the fund were used for the creation of the asset, specifically the livestock, rural livestock. And the program also creates benefit for the upper layers of the poor. The poorest of the poor continued to be the bypass. Another serious problem is the brokerage and widespread corruption that involved in the implementation process of this program. As a result, IRDP is theoretically good, but is badly implemented. Leakages reflect socio-economic structural problem and the elite capture. As a result, the effectiveness of IRDP was limited in our country. After that, another self-employment generating program is SGSY, Swarna Jayanti Gram Swarojgar Yojana. There is the provision of generation of the self-employment, and to generate the self-employment, this approach, the SGSY approach, is also based on the self-help group, which are formed on the basis of the 10 to 12 women belonging in the poor or BPL category household. And the purpose of the formation of the self-help group is to participate in the micro enterprises, and they are also entitled to get loan from the bank. The specific objectives of the SGSY includes it is the holistic approach covering all aspects of the self-employment. It aims at establishing a large number of micro enterprises in the rural area. The assisted families may be individual or the self-help groups. However, emphasis would be given to the group approach. If you consider the target group, then the BPL families are the major target group of this program, and in respect of the fund allocation, the share of the fund is distributed both central as well as state government on the basis of 75:25 ratio basis. That is, 75% of the total cost is the part of the central government, 25% is the part of the state government. But in northeastern states like Jammu Kashmir, the sharing of the fund is on the basis of 90:10 ratio basis. That is, 90% of the fund of the entire cost is the part of the central government, and 10% of the cost is the part of the state government. And different studies as well as government assessed the performance of the Swarna Jayanti Gram Swarojgar Yojana, and under the review process, they observed different types of limitation of this program, and accordingly the Radhakrishnan committee, they recommended that there is no need to continuation of SGSY, and SGSY is restructured into the new program which is called National Rural Livelihood Mission, NRLM. Later this program renamed as Aajeevika. Therefore, the Aajeevika or National Rural Livelihood Mission is the previous version, and its previous version is the Swarna Jayanti Gram Swarojgar Yojana. Swarna Jayanti Gram Swarojgar Yojana restructured into the new program which is called National Rural Livelihood Mission or Aajeevika. The National Rural Livelihood Mission was executed in our country in the year 2011. Later, the program is renamed as Aajeevika. This program is distinct from the earlier wage employment program. Here the main purpose to train up the rural youth or the rural and urban people to get the formal job, not the informal job, rather to get the formal job. And this Aajeevika scheme mainly based on the 3 pillars. And these pillars are improving the poor's existing livelihood options, building marketable skills, and nurturing the self-employment and entrepreneurs, that is to promote the micro enterprises. And this Aajeevika skill development program, which aims to cover about 50 lakh rural youth over the 12th plan period, is largely run by the private sector, financed 75% of the government and 25% by the private sector implementing agency. And what distinguishing features of this program is that in this program, which is different from the other program, it's actually linked to the post-training job placement and guaranteeing salaried employment for 75% of the trainees. But the program faces various challenges. A key one is being job retention. In addition to the skill training for formal employment, Aajeevika provides training in technical skills, marketing and best practices to encourage the rural youth to set up micro enterprises. Aajeevika also trains the self-help group members as health professional, nutrition and education expert who can act as community resources and government representatives for social development programs. In the year 2005, Government of India introduced a new type of program which is called National Rural Employment Program, and this program came into force in the year 2006. In the year 2009, the National Rural Employment Guarantee Program was renamed as Mahatma Gandhi National Rural Employment Guarantee Program, and this program covered in all rural districts in our country. In the previous module, we have discussed the detailed about the Mahatma Gandhi National Rural Employment Guarantee Program. This program is actually treated as the silver bullet in reducing rural poverty and unemployment, as well as there is the provision of 100 days guaranteed employment, and this 100 days guaranteed employment is also legally sanctioned. If you consider the provision of the benefit of this program, then the major benefits of this program is obviously related with the 100 days guaranteed employment. And the employment also provided within the 15 days of the demand of the work and within the 5 km of the radius. There is also the provision of the statutory minimum wages, and the payment of the worker also made within the 15 days of the completion of the work. There is also the provision of the unemployment allowances if the state is not able to generate employment under this program, and this unemployment allowances is 1/3 of the minimum statutory wages. There is also the provision of the different facilities for the worker, and these facilities are related with medical treatment and worksite facilities like drinking water, shades for children, first aid box and crèche for the baby. And most importantly, there is the provision for 1/3 employment specifically for the rural women. As regards the fund of Mahatma Gandhi National Rural Employment Guarantee Program, the fund in respect of the unskilled employment, entire fund is the part of the or is the responsibility of the central government, whereas in case of the asset or skilled and unskilled employment, 75% of the total cost is the part of the or is the responsibility of the central government, and 25% is the responsibility of the state government. If we consider the performance of this program, then after the implementation of this program since 2006, this program now covered in all the rural districts in our country, but the program is limited in respect of the generation of the mandates. This program is able to generate on average 50 mandates during this period, and if you consider the 100 days guaranteed employment, then only 9% households received the 100 days guaranteed employment. But if you consider the participation of ST-SC, then the participation of ST-SC people were gradually declining over time, whereas the participation of the women were gradually increasing over time. And if you consider the percentage share of the women mandates or female mandates in respect of the total mandates, then their share was more than 50% during the entire period. That is, Mahatma Gandhi National Rural Employment Guarantee Program significantly considered the participation of the women in their scheme. If you consider the impact of this program, then the evidence suggests that MGNREGA program is succeeding as a self-targeting program with high participation from marginalized group including SCs and SCs. The wage effect is also equal for both men and women. There is no discrimination of the wage rate for the male worker or for the female worker. Side by side, this program also have the positive impacts for the reduction of the distress migration, for the improvement of the local wage rate or informal wage rate, as well as it helps to improve the empowerment of the women. But this program has been criticized on a number of counts. The main criticism are low coverage, corruption, unable to generate productive assets, and tempering of the master roles, and non-payment of unemployment allowances. Along with these four important employment generating program, here I also discuss important employment generating program which are not directly generate employment, but indirectly they are also generating employment. This program includes Deen Dayal Upadhyay Gramin Kushal Yojana. It was introduced by Ministry of Rural Development in the year 2015, and it is a part of the National Rural Livelihood Mission. And another program is the Deen Dayal Antyodaya Yojana, National Urban Livelihood Mission, NRLM. It is also the part of the program introduced by the Ministry of Housing and Urban Affairs. There is also the evidence of Prime Minister Employment Generating Program, PMEGP, which is introduced by Ministry of Micro, Small and Medium Enterprise in our country. The Pradhan Mantri Mudra Yojana, PMMY, is a scheme introduced by Honorable Prime Minister in the year 2015 for providing loans up to 10 lakh to the non-corporate and non-farm small or micro enterprises, and these loans are classified as Mudra loans under this program, and these loans are given by the commercial bank, regional rural banks, small finance banks, MFI and different non-banking financial corporation. Department of Financial Services, Ministry of Finance introduced the Stand-Up Indian Scheme. This is another type of program which is called Stand-Up Indian Scheme for financing only SC, STs and women entrepreneurs. The objective of this Stand-Up Indian Scheme is to facilitate bank loans between 10 lakh to 1 crore to at least one SC, ST borrower of a district and at least one woman borrowers per bank branch for setting up the greenfield enterprises. There is the evidence of different employment generating program, and most important aspects of this employment generating program is that the program changed its character time to time. When one program was implemented by the government, after some time, when they evaluated that program, they witnessed that the performance of this program is not good. And accordingly, they restructured this program and introduced the new types of program to create the new hope among the people, specifically among the rural people. But the basic problem of different employment generating program is that they are not able to generate employment at a larger scale that help us to overcome the problem of unemployment and underemployment in our country. There are two types of program. One is self-employment generating program and another is direct employment generating program. And there are also the evidence of a number of programs, a number of rural employment generating program as well as urban employment generating program, but due to effective implementation or inefficient implementation of this program, their objective are not fulfilled and we are not able to bypass the problem of unemployment and underemployment from our country. Therefore, a course correction is needed.